and welcome to another episode of the Founderology Podcast. My name is Kathleen Wood, and I'm the founder of Kathleen Wood Partners, a growth strategy firm dedicated to propelling founder-led businesses to new levels of success and scalability. I'm also the co-host of the Founderology Growth Summit, being held in beautiful Austin, Texas, February 2nd through the 4th, where we're bringing together multi-unit visionary restaurant founders to spend 3 days of exchanging tips, techniques, and the inside track for accelerating their business. And if you don't know me by now, you have got to be knowing that I am having the most amazing opportunity to talk to innovators, game changers, and truly trailblazers who are building brands that are built to break through. And today I am beyond excited to introduce our guest. And I know I say that a lot, but this time I have the opportunity to go meet our guest, experience his amazing restaurant, meet his wonderful team, and it is truly my pleasure to introduce an inspiring entrepreneur, a visionary leader, a culinary innovator, Robert Espinosa, the founder of Tacodeli. And you know what? Austin connection. What began in Austin as a taco shop, he has built on authenticity, fresh ingredients, and a love of community, has grown into one of the most respected fast casual brands in the country. Roberto, you and your team have really redefined what a taco experience can be, and I can say that from experiencing it myself, because it is rooted in quality, creativity, and culture. And Roberto, one of the things that I've been so inspired by is your journey, your vision, your flavor, and connected it all with your purpose. So welcome to the Founderology Podcast. We are thrilled to have you here today.
Thank you, Kathleen. I'm thrilled to be here, and it was such a pleasure to get to meet you in person. I was very excited to be able to do so. So thank you. Thank you for the great introduction, and I'm really happy to be here. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I was one of many that got to visit you while we were at the Fast Casual Executive Summit. And we were on this food tour, and when we stopped at your place, I was like, oh, I'm a little full. And by the time we left, they had destroyed everything. There was not anything left on one tray, not one taco. I mean, it was an amazing experience. But more than that, I thought it was so great how you shared your journey, from your origins to where you are today with the team. So I thought that would be a great place for us to start, because we had the privilege to hear it firsthand from you. So now I'd like to share that with our listeners so that they could hear more about your origin, about the story of how you started Tacodeli,
Sure.
where you have it today.
Yeah, sure. Well, I know this story by heart, so I won't have a problem retelling it. But the facts are that I opened the restaurant on November 8th, 1999. I don't know if you remember, I made a reference. That's my sister's birthday, Marissa. And so, we share a very special day because we celebrate her birthday and also the anniversary of our restaurant. But we really started with a desire to eat food that I really personally couldn't find back then. The taco world was very different than what it is today. And my birthplace is Mexico City. So I was born in Mexico City many decades ago. And I grew up with great tacos, great Mexican regional food. Mexico City is a melting pot, very much like a New York City or San Francisco, Chicago, with many cultures that come to that town. And so I grew up knowing food that was very international. I was eating sushi in the 70s with my parents. I was going to farmers markets early on. That was just the way people experience life, And so when we moved to the States, I was thrilled. My mom's originally from New York City, and I was super thrilled to be in the United States playing sports and all the stuff that comes with it. But one thing was really missing, and what the food scene and the tacos were not really a thing. There were a lot of Tex-Mex joints which were phenomenal. There's still a lot of them are still around, but it's very different than what I experienced in the city. And so I really wanted to kind of plant a flag and do that and pursue flavors that I miss and that I really are very kind of intimate with, if you will. And I wanted to be my own boss. And so after asking my dad after UT to fund me, and him saying, "Absolutely not, I'm not going to help you out." I went to work in the booze business. I sold beer, wine, spirits in Atlanta. Um, I did a what would be called a stage now. That I basically did an internship in some kitchens in Cancun, Mexico, in the state of Quintana Roo, and I loved the kitchen, and that was really the impetus. And my dad really guided that process for me, and it opened up a world that I really believed in and I really loved. And so that got me on that path. And then I spent 5 years in Atlanta working at United Distributors selling beer, wine, and spirits. And I decided it was time to do my thing. And at that point, my dad did help me out after I had some experience, and so he was very generous, and we got off the ground 1999. But it was really in pursuit of flavors and memories that I had when I was young.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that you really feel when you're in your restaurant is really the commitment to the authentic flavors. Like so many of your recipes, they come from your family. I mean, one of my favorites was your is the breakfast burrito, which is your grandmother's recipe. I mean, so you really when you talk about knowing your story from your heart, you also built your brand from your heart too, because it's just such a connection to your family, to your upbringing, and to your roots in this world, which is so powerful.
Yeah, I mean that my having dinner at my grandma's house on Sundays was always a very special thing, and I think you're probably referencing the mashed potatoes.
Really.
uh, we she made great mashed potatoes, and I love mashed potatoes, and so that made it onto the menu from the start. Uh, and it's just a unique twist to how we do things, and it's authentic to me. It's authentic to how my grandma prepared food in Mexico City, and another one of her dishes was mole. She made a phenomenal mole, and so when I decided to add the mole to the menu, I did it with 16 ingredients instead of about 40, 45, and kind of try to simplify it for the kitchen team. But it was an inspiration for my grandma. And so those flavors have definitely prevailed. We've also been able to really interpret those local or those original flavors to kind of give them our own stamp, which I think is really important.
Yeah, such a beautiful balance and blend of it all. So, Roberto, when you think about where you started and what you've been doing, what's your ultimate vision for Taco Deli right now?
Well, right now we're growing again. The pandemic kind of hit the brakes for everybody, and it was a really it was nice to refreshing to be able to get out of that and open some new restaurants. And so we've done that on a slower pace, but we're trying to start to get that process shaking a little bit faster right now. So the end goal is to continue to grow responsibly and to make sure that we're doing the things the right way. We everything that we serve in the restaurants is produced in each kitchen. So each of our kitchen teams are very, very good at doing what they do. Our kitchen managers are phenomenal chefs. They understand the food, and they understand the preparation of the food, and it's very important that we continue to do that. We're not going to be buying pre-made anything. I mean, everything is made in the restaurants.
I had the pleasure in my career to work for another company that sold tacos. And at one point, we were making those beans in the steam pot with the lard and all of that and
Yeah.
grilling them. And then one day we switched over to maybe a quick bean that you put hot water in. And I was personally devastated because I was like, they'll never be the same. But you can definitely taste those flavors when you're in your restaurant because you can see it, and you can see it in the kitchens too. I mean, everyone is busy, they're working, but you can also taste it in the depth of the flavors. So I hope,
Yeah.
my goal is for everyone to get to Austin and to try Taco Deli for sure.
Oh, well,
But
thank you. Me too.
yeah, when you were growing Taco Deli, I always ask founders this question. At a certain point, there's always this one magical moment where you have this aha moment, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to work. When do you think you experienced your aha moment when you were starting?
The answer is very simple, and I don't want to sound arrogant when I say this, but I never doubted that it was going to work. I never, even when we weren't making money for the first 2 years, I mean, it's like, it's going to work. I had conviction that, I was doing the right thing for myself and for the people that have come along in the business. That I never thought of failure. I never thought this is going to work. Even when my CPA early on said, "You can't continue to do this because you're gonna go bankrupt." And we found a way. We figured it out, and we prevailed. And I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What do you think to date has been one of your biggest breakthrough moments? Because you've done a lot of very innovative, and I know we're going to talk a little bit more, but you've done a lot of
Sure.
very innovative things in your business.
I don't know if it's necessary. Well, I guess it is a moment. Yeah. So I think our sourcing is a big one. The way we source our ingredients is a big one, and we don't source everything the best we can. It's just not possible. But we source a lot very responsibly and very well.
Yeah.
And so I think that was an aha moment in the sense that there were producers out there that didn't really understand how to play with restaurants. This is in the early 2000s,
Right, right.
and a lot of people were really chasing better sourcing, and it was just a matter of time. And I give people like John Mackey a huge amount of credit. Whole Foods did an amazing thing for our country as far as culinarily speaking, how we evolved as a country. Of course, there are amazing chefs out there doing really great fine
Right.
dining. The movement of what the culinary world has gone through is just truly amazing. It's really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on a Tacodeli level is how we ended up finally sourcing really good quality eggs. And, as simple as that sounds, but really high quality eggs that we were proud of and that we would eat every day, and we trusted the source very well. So to me, that those are the moments that kind of we've built on as we've gone along, and we can improve one source maybe once a year, and that's a big win.
Right. I love that commitment. Yeah, I love that commitment to keeping the quality, keeping the focus on what matters most, the quality, right? And evolving it as you grew. I think sometimes people get caught like, no, we're only going to do it this way and we're going to do this way forever, even though there's other things occurring. And like even like I love your eggs, it's a simple example, but when you're explaining the depth that you all go to find the perfect eggs and then to be able to taste that
Yeah,
is you could there is a big difference between what you're eating there and what potentially you could be trying
absolutely.
someplace else,
Yeah,
so
and we built our business on relationships, and Vital Farms has been a huge part of that story. Matt O'Hare, the founder of Vital Farms, I got to know him early on when he was just getting started. I think he had I think 17 chickens on his farm when he got started. I mean, something really ridiculously low compared to what they've become today. But what I love about my relationship with them is that they really stay true to doing things the right way, and we benefited from that relationship tremendously. The quality is just phenomenal. Uh, and to supply it to us at a big volume level, is really important.
yeah, absolutely. Roberto, as you've been growing the business, and as you've been, and also, by the way, really growing with Austin too, because in 1999, Austin was one thing. Today, Austin is completely different as well.
Mhm.
But as you've been growing, what do you think has been one of like the, game changing decisions you made, or one of the like, hey, we made this decision and it shifted the trajectory of our business? Do you have a couple of those that you've made along the way?
Yeah, I think it's gonna boil down to our team. Um, I think growing the professionalism and the strength of our team that is helping lead the charge to our growth and to staying true to what we do has been it's been a process. It hasn't been overnight, but it's been really reaffirming to me in the sense that we've brought some incredible talent to our team that um, they bring a lot of game, and it's humbling and it's rewarding, and it really is at the end of the day about the people that are helping you in the process. And so it's been a slow burn on that, but it's definitely the decision to go that route. My business partner Eric and I, we've embraced that for a long time,
Right.
and it's worked out.
Well, I want to just step on that for just a moment because I think sometimes founders, they don't necessarily see that, they're like, hey, I've got myself, I've got the people that have come up with me. Why do I need to make this investment? Why do I have to go get, like Peter, your CEO, and
Sure.
why do you go out and bring those people in? So, and I think one of the conversations I have a lot of times with founders is like, it's time. If you've got to go get the people that have been there, done that, so you
Right.
could accelerate your growth.
Yeah.
What made you make the decision to start building your team?
Um, well, we got great advice. We're very fortunate.
That's good.
We also had a friendship with Mike Young from Chewy's, and he's the first one that kind of advised us in that way. He was very clear and said, if you guys want to continue to do what you're doing and grow, and growth is it has so many different benefits, right? You have a personal benefit for you and your family. It has benefit of sharing the love of our food and our love for tacos to our customer base, but uh, allowing the teams to have future potential growth within the company is also very important to us. And so that's when that seed was planted, and this is a while back, and we've kind of been building on that ever since.
Absolutely. And if we stay on growth for a minute, you've also grown Tacodeli in some. I feel like you were the originator of the Ghost Kitchen with your breakfast taco program. You've expanded
The
out
ghost taco,
into.
I like
I
that.
know it, man, because you were like, and we just started selling tacos to coffee shops, to
Yeah,
like before anyone even thought about that. So you've also looked at growth too as extending past the restaurants. So
yeah.
it's the breakfast taco program. It's getting into HEB and Whole Foods. I mean, how has that played into, because that creates opportunities for everyone that way too. How have been making those decisions helped you in, continuing to grow Tacodeli?
Um, I think going back to the love of tacos, the love of our food, and us wanting to share it, that's always kind of been what inspires us. Like, we've talked about the doña, right? We were approached by Whole Foods to produce a doña for retail in the CPG world, and we were so excited. It was like, yes, we can share these flavors, and it's specifically we can share the doña with the masses, with people that are out there that maybe have never experienced it, uh, and so to me, it's just at its most fundamental level, it's that. But also on the business development side, it's created a lot of awareness uh, to allow us to kind of get our name out there and get people to taste our food uh, if they're not able to come into one of our restaurants.
Right. One of the things that I was really impressed about is just your continued commitment to staying authentic to who you are, connecting culture and connecting community. And I think the Doña sauce is a great story. So if you wouldn't mind, can you share how the
Sure.
Doña sauce becomes and why it's so, and not only important to your brand, but also why when you're talking about going to Whole Foods with it, why it really amplifies that connection of culture and community and really connectivity.
Sure. It's a very personal story. Uh, Doña is an actual person, Doña Berta, uh, and the story with the salsa starts with her. Um, Early on, I challenged my team, which with one restaurant back in the day, it was a team of four in the kitchen, uh, and and so I asked them to bring a salsa of their liking. I had a contest essentially, and I said whoever I deemed the winner, it was a one man judging panel. Um, I will reward them with $30. So it's embarrassing, but there's more to that story. Okay. Uh, and a lot of the sauces were really delicious. They were very good, but nothing really that was outside the box or anything that I hadn't seen before. There was an arbol salsa. There was a roasted tomato sauce similar to the one that we have on the menu. There was a tomatillo salsa, and and everybody brought their containers from home, and I'm tasting them as I go, just with spoons. And the doña salsa was the last one, and she brought her salsa in a sour cream container. You know, those white ones that they're opaque, you can't see through them. And I opened the lid up, and I mean, literally, and I always say this, and it is no exaggeration. It's like the scene in Pulp Fiction when they opened the briefcase, and there's a glow, and you don't know what it is. It's somebody's soul. It's a briefcase full of gold. It was a moment like that because the sauce is so pretty. It's very vibrant. The color is amazing. The texture looks very appetizing, and immediately I'm piqued. And I stick my spoon in there and I taste it, and I am absolutely floored. I was just floored. It was delicious, and then we ended up adding it to our offerings. And long story short, it really did become synonymous with Tacodeli. And I think it really helped us establish ourselves in the marketplace and with our customer base here in Austin. And then, of course, then beyond through our restaurants in Houston and Dallas, and then through the CPG channels. But the $30 really parlayed into a lot more. We actually we basically have the doing it on a consulting basis to help, and so she gets what you can call a fee based on the sales that we have at the CPG level. And she's retired now. She doesn't live in Austin anymore.
Yeah.
And the reason I say it's very personal is because I got to be very close to her. She when she lived here, she babysat my kids, and we have a
Wow.
very strong personal connection.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah,
That gives me goosebumps. That just gives
yeah,
me goosebumps. Because, you hear about people that they do like these contests, right? And then the filet o fish gets invented, or the Big Mac, or the Frappuccino. And everyone, may or may not. I don't know exactly what all those deals were, but it seems like most of them got a healthy little handshake. But you really kind of pulled it all the way through. And to have her be so again, this is that whole connection, right?
yeah,
Of your team and your restaurants and your community and your culture, and really bringing these flavors out that people genuinely know are different and unique, but also, very umami, that you just craveable, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I just want to thanks for sharing that, because I think that's such a powerful
Well,
story.
thanks for letting me share it. I
Oh
appreciate it.
yeah. And one, I hope that people will be inspired to do with their teams too, by the way, because
Sure,
sometimes our team members have some of the greatest ideas as
they
well.
do. Absolutely.
Yeah. I was also curious, Roberto, when you think about being a founder and when you think about your founder's journey, what do you think has been one of the kind of your superpowers in that journey that says, this is a trait that I have, and that has really that has really empowered, or has, assisted
Yeah,
me in continuing to persist? Because you have had challenging times,
yeah,
COVID, up and down economies, the changing of Austin. I mean, just a
yeah.
lot. So what's been at the core there?
Um, I think having a mentality of uh, corroboration is too simple of a term. I think uh, I've always invited people into the business to help with the business. The first and probably best example is my business partner Eric Wilkerson. He he joined me after we had a lot of mutual friends. We never met. We both went to UT. We both lived in Georgia and Atlanta for 5 years. We were probably at the same parties and events in Georgia. Never met. We had all the same friends from UT, and once I moved to Austin, I got to meet him through a mutual friend that came in to eat at the restaurant. My friend Mark brought Eric in, and we became fast friends. And I needed help, and I said, "Man, we would hang out and just talk shop, and talk shop, talk shop, talk shop, and we'd meet for a beer and talk shop. It's like, oh, he was very curious, and he was a consultant in his prior life, and he was taking time off. He was trying to figure out his next steps, and I needed help, and I said, man, I would love for you to come on in and help me out, and we'll see if we can work together, and this is a positive thing. He came in and we hit it off great on a professional level. And eventually he bought into the company and has been my partner since 2000. Well, a little after, but he joined me in 2000. He's been lockstep with me since 2000, like mid year. So he's essentially been growing the business alongside with me the whole time. And uh, from that experience, we've always invited people to come in that we feel are better or smarter than we are. And so I think you have to have that ability to, allow people in, because if someone sees something that they like in what you're doing, it does attract people. It attracts quality people.
Right. I'm taking some notes as we're talking because I like how you started when you were like, I knew I wasn't going to fail because I had conviction. I let people participate with me as I go. I built a team. But then this idea of letting people in, of being smart enough to know that there could be other smart people at the table too. It's not easy sometimes as a founder, but one of the things I found in working with founders and in talking with successful founders such as yourself is that does seem to be a trait that helps them scale. If you want to be a one unit or just one or two units, then be founder centric all day. But if you really want to bring, like you are doing, Roberto, these
Yeah.
amazing flavors and experiences to more people, having that team and being open to letting people in does seem to be a trait that successful founders who are scaling business seem to share too.
Yeah. Well, this business is way too hard to do by yourself.
That is true too, by the way. Very true. I was also curious though, when you think about your mindset as a founder, everybody's got different mindsets. Well, how would you describe your mindset as a founder?
Um, I, I would say tenacious, but still have giving space for things to flow. We try things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So being permissive with yourself to have those failures is probably good. You don't want to have too many of those, but 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 I think it's healthy to be able to do that. And if you're going to embark on a project, go for it, do it. Uh, but if you have to reverse course, go ahead and do that too. Um, uh, you know, uh, I think the pandemic taught us a lot. We reduced our menu so much. We went from 40 something tacos to 13. And for a moment, we're like, this is great. Execution is so simple. This is awesome. And then you start to realize as things started to normalize is that, well, people want some variety. And this is not a forever menu. And we re-engaged in a lot of the things that were very special and unique to us. And we probably even amplified those even more so after the pandemic. So I think giving the space to be flexible and to try things out is really important.
Yeah, I love that. And I also love your idea that you don't want to have a lot of failures, but if you don't try anything,
Right.
that in and of itself is a failure, when you think about
Sure.
it from that
Yeah.
perspective. So,
It's
um, you know,
you can get stagnant. Yeah.
yeah. And I do think that, when we think about where the industry is going today, what are people looking for? Great experiences, great service, and
Yeah.
craveable menu items, but also craveable menu items that they can appreciate how much love and attention has gone into it. And I think when you
Sure.
put all those things together, you get Taco Deli at that point,
Well,
which is
thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot.
it is true though.
Yeah.
I honestly, everyone, whether they come in for a Founderology Growth Summit or if they're just visiting Austin for a, UT football game or for any other reason, that, you've got so many great locations there. Everybody needs to make that one of the, I know everyone says barbecue, and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that
Oh,
and
you got to do the barbecue. Yes, but
barbecue as
barbecue
well.
and tacos. You can do
Gotta do
both.
them both. Yeah, you gotta do them both, man. But Taco Deli's got to be top of the list there. Um, Roberto, you know what? Here's the thing. I think you and I could talk about a lot of things because, I really do love that when you started that breakfast taco idea, it was the original, ghost kitchen, kind of ghost taco concept for so many. Because you're selling breakfast tacos now in how many different locations just in Austin?
Oh gosh, I think we're north of probably close to 100 in Austin. I think closer to 150 across the state. It's a lot of coffee shops. Yeah, that's it's a great avenue for us to kind of get our food out there, and it helps. We discount the food. It's a wholesale program, uh, and but the coffee shops are really they embrace it really well, and we have great partnerships there, and we do generate some revenues from that. So it's kind of the best of all worlds.
Right. And I think it's like, again, the drive to get your flavors, your food to other people, whether it's been CPG, whether it's been the breakfast tacos, whether it's been the locations, I mean, the catering. I mean, I just love the fact that what drives you is to have more and more people try try your product in any form or fashion, but try it, engage in it, fall in love with it, and keep coming back to it, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's
yeah,
so powerful.
yeah,
Because I think sometimes people overthink it. They're like, well, we have to do this, we have to do this. But sometimes it's just about staying true to who you are and
yeah,
trying to move into as many directions that make sense without just changing the whole concept, which I think
yeah.
you've mastered that for sure.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, I know we could talk for many more hours about this because then I want to go through each menu item and I want to ask so many questions. But believe it or not, we're running out of time.
Oh,
So I'm going to
already?
ask you,
Come
I
on.
know, I'm telling you, it goes fast. I'm going to ask you our 5 fast questions. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yes.
Okay. What is your favorite taco on the Taco Deli menu? And if they're all your favorites, then what's the one that you tell everybody they have to try no matter what?
Well, that's the best way anyone's ever asked that question, because my pat answer is like, ask me which of my kids is my favorite kid,
Right,
and
right.
both
I
my
know.
boys, I love them both equally, and I love, but no, all kidding aside, you have to taste the auto. You have to have the auto.
And my
Refried
top
mac
favorites
and
in the
cheese,
auto.
yep, with hickory smoked bacon, cheese and avocado, and it just amazing. It's the best. So good.
Yeah, that one. Okay, definitely when we were all there, that went away very
So good.
quickly.
Yeah.
I
And
also
and a
like
friend of mine helped me create that, by the way.
really
Yeah.
seriously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one, man.
It's
I
really
also like the Frontera Fundido
yeah.
chicken
Different Terra chicken.
because yeah, could you just tell everybody how you made that chicken so darn delicious in that taco
Well, we
without
started with
giving away secrets?
yeah, no, that's all good. That we use Redbird chicken. So it's NAE chicken. It's really good. And we grill it on the flat top. It's chicken breast, and we dice it, and then we grill on the flat top. Very simple seasoning: paprika, salt, and oil. And then we hit it with a little sherry at the end, and the cheese melts on top. So the Monterey Jack cheese and the chicken with the sherry that's kind of creating little steam, make this little kind of gooey, saucy, cheesy sauce that hugs the chicken, um, and it's delicious. So
Delicious,
and and I did not want to have a fajita on the menu, so this is
right?
kind of our version of a fajita, uh,
Yeah.
and it's poblano peppers and onions. Those are the rajas that we use, and we saute those, and we put that in a tortilla, and that's your taco.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. If everyone's mouths aren't
It's
watering
good.
after
It's
the
really good.
Otto and the Frontier Fundido, I don't know what's going on here. What would be one word that would sum up your journey thus far as the founder of Taco Deli?
Rewarding.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
rewarding.
I love that.
Yeah.
What is one book that you think every founder should at least read, glance at, listen to on tape, blink list, somehow, some way?
Gosh, I tend to be a simple guy. I love reading. I was an English major, but um, I love the simplicity of Richest Man in Babylon. I don't know if you read it.
Yes, I
It's
have.
just such a simple way to understand finances, and it's really helped us in the business. And of course, we have an accounting team, and we have our P&Ls that we go through every period. And but at the end of the day, the concept is very very fundamental. It's how much you keep and how much are you going to spend, right? So to me, that's been a great inspiration. Actually, Eric introduced me to that, and I bought like 5 copies and gave it away to friends because I was so inspired by it.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the classic ones. I love that one, The Richest Man in Babylon. And
Yeah,
then I always partner that with Think and Grow Rich because
yeah,
that's another classic and they just meld together.
yeah.
So I love that. What would be, we have a lot of founders that listen to the podcast. And I was just curious from your perspective, what would be one piece of advice you'd give to founders who are sitting, listening to this right now, thinking, will my concept break through? What do I have to do? What would be one piece of advice you'd give to them?
Believe in what you're doing and keep on plugging away. I mean, um, if you're not doing work in this industry with a level of passion for this business, it's going to be very, very hard. And you have to really believe in this business to get something out of it. And there's a very personal perspective. So uh, that's where I'm speaking from. But for me, it is if I did not have a passion for the food, our team members, and our customer service, and our guests, um, I don't know if I would be doing this. Um, Monetarily, those rewards come, but those things are the ones that really kind of hit home for me.
Yeah, I love that. You know what I really love is that answer really does tie back to the origin, right? You've stayed true to your roots while growing a brand and a business and a team that's been relevant to where you're going. And
Yeah,
I think that's a little bit of an art and a science that everyone doesn't always appreciate, but gives me goosebumps because when you start your origin story and then you speak to where, the advice you give others, it really does kind of bring it all full circle.
yeah.
So thank you for that. Thank you for that
Thank you.
beautiful wisdom there. Roberto, if people wanted to learn more about you and Tacodeli, where would they go to find out more information about all your locations and also just more about you and the great things that you're doing with your business?
The easiest place to go is our website, www.tacodeli.com. We have a good social media presence. You can go there as well. But that's it. Or just give me a call and I'd love to talk.
I love that too. Yeah, stop by too. No, that's fantastic. I really do want to say this. Thank you, really, Roberto. Congratulations on all your success with your team, with your vision becoming a reality, with your team, with your growth, but most importantly, with how you continue to inspire. And I know you're going to inspire a lot of people that are listening to this podcast. And I know you inspire people every day with your story and what you're doing and how you're building these amazing connections of culture, community, the team, and most importantly, the authenticity of what you started and what you now have today.
Thank
It's
you.
phenomenal. So
Thank
thank you
you.
so
Thank you,
much.
Kathleen. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Oh my gosh. And thank you for your generosity today. And for everyone that's been going along with us today, first and foremost, I hope you're hungry after listening to the story
I
of
know I am.
I am too. My gosh. I hope you're hungry. I hope that you seriously, the next time that you go, I don't hope, I really, really, really put it on your agenda to go visit Taco Deli, then go get some barbecue, but stop at Taco Deli first. And
I like
again,
that.
if you're out there listening, keep doing what you're doing every day because sometimes you're only a few feet away from building a brand that's going to be built to break through. So, Roberto, thank you so much. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode of Founderology Podcast. And mark your calendars for the Founderology Growth Summit, February 2nd through the 4th in Austin, Texas, assuring you that you will stop at Taco Deli. Thank you all so much and have a great day.